to review the last week's TV. We've got James Schneider, who was comms behind Jeremy Corbyn. Are you there, James?
Yeah, hi.
Are you a big TV watcher?
Not, I don't have to so much anymore, especially not watching the news as much. So, I mean, yeah, maybe a bit of Netflix, watching something nice.
And right, and I've got Pamela Fitzpatrick, who often does the newspapers, but now is moved to the telly. Pamela, are you there?
I'm here, thanks, Crispin. And just to say, you've had some really great guests on today. I hope you get them back. Both Jake and Bob were fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll definitely get them back. Now, the thing about this TV review is I asked James to look at the first program that we're going to review, and he refused to watch it. So luckily, Pamela had a look at it, and I'm going to show a bit of it now so that people can get a taste of the show. It's recorded using my phone against a screen because I can't actually get the downloads. I just wanted to, so it's not meant to be this artistic in its quality. This is the clip, a little clip for you to watch. It's of Keir Starmer on the Piers Morgan show. I can't quite remember what it. Right, now, well done, Pamela, for watching it. So what did you think about the treatment of Keir Starmer on that show? Do you think they were quite overly friendly to him? And how did you interpret the whole thing?
So I hadn't watched this until Crispin asked me to review it, so I forced myself to. It was beyond bad. It was so bad. I mean, that's one of the least bad clips that you showed. But what is striking is how gently they treated Starmer. If you compare any interview that Jeremy had, or pretty much any of the shadow cabinet at that time, was always hostile. And this should be a real concern to us about what that means. I mean, it was devoid, there was no content whatsoever. It was just random words thrown out. And this whole attempt to show Starmer as being human, that this is the person people will like, almost feel sorry for, actually. I mean, the way it was kind of run, it was very bizarre. But what they forget, what they don't get, it just drives me potty, is Jeremy Corbyn was not seen as a natural leader when he emerged as the leader. It was about the policies, and it came from the grassroots, and that's what people were so excited about. It's not about personalities. We're not in a presidential system, but it was beyond bizarre, I have to say. And I don't think it will do him any favours. I don't think it will encourage people to vote. I think it will make more people think there's no point and will leave the Labour Party because they want something, desperately they need something at the moment. So when he was asked, will you be a socialist Prime Minister, he couldn't bring himself to say that. And if you look back in history, the only time we've actually achieved change is by radical people demanding it, you know, from the strikers, the matchstick, the French Commune, all of these things have been driven by people wanting change because of such inequality. And at this time, when we've had 150,000 people died, when we've got poverty, we've got people losing their homes, it's just beyond belief, that programme. And I feel very kind of tricked now, Crispin, that you allowed James not to watch it and I was forced to spend an hour of my life this
it wasn't that. It was 50 minutes. Come on, it's 50 minutes. Don't exaggerate.
It felt longer. It felt so much longer. It was bizarre, I have to say. But the crucial thing is, as you've picked up, Crispin, is how gently he was treated. I mean, it could have been a Mills and Boon sort of book that had been put on TV. It was so strange. The music, this kind of.
It was like he'd won the million. It was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire at the end, wasn't it? He's won the jackpot. It's like he's won. He's been on the show. He's won the jackpot. Now I'm going to move on
outside his house. It's just bizarre, the whole thing.
I'm going to move on to James. Now, James, I'm not sure if you watched this because you said you don't watch much telly, but I'm assuming you may have seen it or heard of it. Howard Beckett was on Newsnight on, I think it was Wednesday.
This is the frightening story of people wanting democracy in the Labour Party, right? Absolutely horrific.
This is a clip of Howard Beckett on Newsnight. I nicked it from someone's Facebook feed who recorded it with their camera. So it's just it's all dodgy stuff. Here we go.
Mr. Price is assuming that Thompson's is going to pay him from Unite. Now, he must have got this idea from somewhere. Or is he a fantasist? Howard, do you want to come back to that?
Mr. Price is making a suggestion. In 2017 or 2006...
He's assuming, and that suggests that this may be of a pattern of behaviour. And then he goes on, I think that's you, Mr. Beckett, and him, I think we agreed you would arrange payment through Thompson's. I need a form of words to describe what I am not, in brackets, doing. That would seem to suggest that there had been a conversation and an agreement. And I am sure you would agree, Mr. Beckett, that if this was true in any way at all, and you were trying to hide payments paid for by a third party, that it would be against trade union law.
Siobhan, I think you need to be extremely careful. I don't know you. I'm not sure what your experience is in respect of cross-examining someone, but I think on national television you should be extremely careful in regard to your language. Steve was making a suggestion that he wanted to be financially remunerated for activities that he was going to undertake in the region. It's completely legitimate for those activities to either be paid for by Unite or a third party, but I decided to go a different way, and it is simple as that. And your language and others' language in the programme is simply, as I said before, hypocrisy, given what went on in 2017. I don't know your experience, Siobhan, with the trade union movement, but I can tell you this in regard to the trade union movement. We do not back away from our principles, and we do not back away from saying it whenever Labour MPs are not reflecting those principles.
I'm sorry, Mr. Beckett, you can have whatever principles you like, but you only get to do what you do because your members pay their subs. And I think they pay their subs for you to represent them, to give them advice when they need it, and to help them train. I don't think they want to pay for you to organise in 59 constituencies, influence councillors' selections, remove councillors, remove MPs, and on top of that, remove the General Secretary and somebody called John Stolliday. And I don't know if you know John Stolliday, but he is a Labour Party lifer. He's worked in the party his whole life. He's not stood for election. He's not gone for a major job. He's worked his way up. And when he was forced out of the Labour Party, there was a standing ovation from every member of staff in the building. And this man seems to think that it's absolutely legitimate to get him sacked.
Very briefly, if you may.
Well, it's extraordinary that it should be brief.
Well, no, we've had a long to and fro, you and I suppose we just a quick response,
as I say, Siobhan, I don't know your relationship with the trade union movement, but let me just give you a little bit of history in respect of it. The Labour Party was set up by the trade union movement.
Are we having a bit of mansplaining? It's mansplaining, Mr. Beckett. I've been in the Labour Party for 40 years. I've been an MP for 23 years, and I have been a member of the GMB for 30 years. So I really don't need you to lecture to me about history.
We are at time for this particular discussion. Perhaps you two will talk again. You are both part of the Labour...
I doubt it very much, Emma, that we'll talk again.
You are both
Siobhan, frankly, is in the wrong party.
So, James, I saw you laughing at sections of that. Now, what I would...
That was wonderful. That was absolutely brilliant. What a fantastic bit of TV. I wished I watched that live myself. Really, really top-notch stuff.
I mean,
John Stolliday, hero of the movement. John Stolliday, the people's champion, marching forth for working people up and down the land, cruelly forced out. I mean, it's just so funny. I love it so much. It's a shame that Siobhan McDonough didn't join her best friend Joan Ryan and engage in the glorious self-deselection of Cup Tinge PLC in February 2019. I love this sort of moral panic about about there being democracy in the Labour Party, about people actually having a say, and the idea that MPs having to engage in democracy in some way, having to represent people, is abusive. I love it. It's just so funny. It's so transparent. It's so obvious. And her description of what trade unions are meant to do, which is, quote, provide advice and a bit of training. I mean, it's just, it's just so good. It makes it so clear that there is there's a section of the Labour Party establishment who don't have any ideas beyond kick the left, try to reduce the power of trade unions, reduce the power of members, and neuter our policies. And that's just what we're seeing there.
And I mean, it was quite obviously a setup to try and make Howard Beckett go on the back foot and sort of say, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking," But he actually stood up, and one of that bit where he said about you better be careful what you say legally was pretty forthright, wasn't it?
I mean, it's all. I mean, we've seen these things before. There was the time when there was some leaked recording of John Lansman talking about Unite affiliating to Momentum, which Tom Watson said. It was in the 2016 leadership campaign, and Tom Watson came out saying, I've got to save the Labour Party from this plot, and all this, all this kind of stuff. It's hard to work out whether these, Labour right figures, when they go hyperventilating to the media, whether they're aware that they're acting in bad faith and they're kind of finding it a little bit funny, in which case, in a way, fair play to them, right? Or they genuinely think that when members and trade unions organise in their own interest to advance their own political interests, that's in some way vile, anti-democratic and anti-parliamentarian. Whereas when they stitch things up and secure the power of some MPs and some councillors, it's in some way, a glorious democratic advance for the people. I don't know. I'm not a psychotherapist, so I don't know exactly how cognitive dissonance works, but there's definitely something going on in there.
Right. I mean, thank you for coming on, and it's good to see you having a laugh on a Sunday, and thank you, Pamela, as well. Sorry that you got the wrong end of the stick you got the wrong side.
Can I just say something though about the Howard's interview? It's the same characters, it's the same script, it's the same roles that we had for Jeremy coming out to destroy Howard now. And Howard did what we really wanted Jeremy to do back in 2016, to say, we're not having this, go away. So well done, Howard. He's going to get more votes out of that.